大変お待たせしております。お客様本日こちらでお召し上がりになりますか？はい、ありがとうございます。
ホットドッグ1つと、
ホットドッグマスタードおかけしますか？
あとホットハムチェダー、
ホットハムチェダーで、はい。
あとホットコーヒーと、
はい、サイズいかがいたしますか？レギュラーとラージサイズか2種類。
レギュラーで、
レギュラーサイズ、はい、お豆をお選びください。
何がありましたっけ？ブラジルで、
はい、こちらブラジルで、は
はい
い、かしこまりました。
と野菜とささみのジンジャースープ
はい、
のハーフサイズ。
ハーフサイズ。
はい
はい。で、ジンジャースープのハーフサイズ一回取り消しますね。
はい、
はい、
とりあえず以上で。
かしこまりました。
ada apa tadi?
We used to have each other's playlists. No, no. Used to be each other's best friends. Yeah. And now we go our separate pathways. But your heart's still in mine. Yeah. And maybe we could try it next week again. But I don't wanna think we're toxic. But who cares? You said that we're over, hands under covers alone this time. But everything I see still reminds me of you. Bag of all your things, the memories of when I kissed you. Remember when we used to say to each other, we belong together, me and you forever. Tell me where you've been, yeah, since our break. I'm sorry that I blamed ya for things you can't control. I've been in a daze. I left my heart out to you so you could see me through. Though you still deserve better. You stick with me, cause everything I see still reminds me of you. Bag of all your things, the memories.
はい、
なんだっけ、傘の
ウーさん。
ウーさんね。だから
ウーさんの形がこうなってるから、この文字がウ。ウーさんを考えて、これは
1、2上手、1。できたー。
そう、洗濯。
サンマ。
サンマ。ほら、これも粒でしょ。サンマ。
洗濯サンマ
こ。れは韓国。丸いでしょ。
うん。
お母さん。
そう、お母さんじゃなくてお母
お
さん。
母さん。
そう。お兄さんじゃなくて、お兄さん。
お兄さん。
賑やかなところですね。
あのビルは何ですか？
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 번화한 곳이네요. 저 빌딩은 뭐예요? 란 뜻인데요. 여러분, 여기에서 나용용사 나왔는데요. 번화하다는 미기야까다죠.
여러분 안녕하세요. 가벼운 일본어 기바른입니다. 저와 함께 재밌게 일본어를 배워볼 텐데요. 일본 여행이 그리운 분들 그리고 일본인 친구와 한국어 하듯
일본어 야바이도 정말 여러 상황에서 쓰입니다. 좋은 일에도 야바이, 안 좋은 일에도 야바이라고 합니다. 언제 쓰는지 같이 해볼까요?
헐 끝났다고요? 야바이 왔다. 야 봐봐. 야바이 가와이. 고마워라 야바이. 기바른이 느낀 한국과 일본의 차이점을 소개합니다.
一つ残ったけど食べる？いいよいいよ大丈夫大丈夫。食べな食べな。일본에서는 친구들끼리 밥 먹을 때 서로 양보합니다.
안녕하세요. 타쿠야입니다. 타쿠야의 5분 일본어. 일본어, 문법, 회화를 잘해도 발음을 어려워하시는 분들이 참 많은데요. 기초 단계부터 발음을 정확히 배우면 좋겠죠? 한국에는 스와 비슷한 발음이 없어서 많은 분들이 어려워하세요.
혀 끝과 잇몸 사이에서 소리를 냅니다. 스. 여러분도 따라해 보실까요? 스.
한자 네 전자 하나 둘셋 가와 가센 가와 가와 따라서 마지막으로 비르 도서관 니기야카다 기레다 도로나 와 네.
Didn't think you'd say hi to me, let alone walk by me, even though I know I deserve the best. And just look at you, you make me blush. And I put up my wall so my heart won't get crushed. Cause when you're looking in my eyes, it's like I'm walking on thin ice. And if you can't tell, I'm not acquainted with love that well. It's a game that I never learned to play. But when you look my way, it's like I've known it all along. And what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna make a moon, stop waiting. Cause I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. So tell me how I play it cool now. Tell me, when can I see you again? But maybe this time not as just friends. I'm feeling hot, baby, you got me hooked. These feelings just cannot be overlooked. And I'm so tired of waiting, babe. I'm so over this patient phase. It's not overrated, it's not complicated. It's love, it's love. And if you can't tell, I'm not acquainted with love that well. It's a game that I never learned to play. But when you look my way, it's like I've known it all along. And what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna make a move, stop waiting. Cause I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. So tell me how I play it cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. No. So take me away someplace far and hold me safe inside your arms. It's not overrated, it's not complicated, it's love. So take me away someplace far and hold me safe inside your arms. It's not overrated, it's not complicated, it's love. It's love. So take me away someplace far and hold me safe inside your arms. It's not overrated, it's not complicated, it's love. It's love. So take me away someplace far and hold me safe inside your arms. It's not overrated, it's not complicated, it's love. And if you can't tell, I'm not acquainted with love that well. It's a game that I never learned to play. But when you look my way, it's like I've known it all along. And what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna make a move, stop waiting. Cause I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. So tell me how I play it cool. Supposed to do.
う